Assalamu alaikum everyone. We have discussed 5 principles of language assessment so far. These are practicality, reliability, validity, authenticity and washback. These go a long way toward providing useful guidelines for both evaluating an existing assessment procedure and designing one of our own. Quizzes, tests, final exams, and standardized proficiency tests can all be scrutinized through these 5 lenses. Now we'll discuss how we can apply these principles to the evaluation of classroom tests. So we can ask some questions to ourselves. Are the test procedures practical? Practically is determined by the teachers and students' time constraints, costs and administrative details, and to some extent by what occurs before and after the test. To determine whether a test is practical for your needs, you may want to use the checklist. Number 1. Are administrative details clearly established before the test? Number 2. Can students complete the test reasonably within the set time frame? Number 3. Can the test be administered smoothly without procedural glitches? Number 4. Are all materials and equipment ready? Number 5. Is the cost of the test within budgeted limits? Number 6. Is the scoring or evaluation system feasible in the teacher's time frame? Number 7. Are methods for reporting results determined in advance? The second question we may ask, is the test reliable? Reliability applies to both the test and the teacher, and at least 4 sources of unreliability must be guarded against. Test and test administration reliability can be achieved by making sure that all students receive the same quality of input, whether written or auditory. Part of achieving test reliability depends on the physical context, making sure, for example, that every student has a cleanly photocopied test sheet, sound amplification is clearly audible to everyone in the room, video input is equally visible to all, lighting, temperature, extraneous noise and other classroom conditions are equal and optimal for all students. And objective scoring procedures leave little debate about correctness of an answer. Rater reliability, another common issue in assessments, may be more difficult, perhaps because we too often overlook this as an issue. Since classroom tests rarely involve 2 scorers, inter-rater reliability is seldom an issue. Instead, intra-rater reliability is of constant concern to teachers. So intra-rater reliability for open-ended responses may be enhanced by the following guidelines. Use consistent sets of criteria for a correct response. Give uniform attention to those sets throughout the evaluation time. Read through tests at least twice to check for your consistency. If you have made midstream notifications of what you consider as a correct response, go back and apply the same standards to all. Avoid fatigue by reading the tests in several sittings, especially if the time requirement is a matter of several hours. The third question is, does the procedure demonstrate content validity? The major source of validity in classroom tests is content validity. It means the extent to which the assessment required students to perform tasks that were included in the previous classroom lessons and that directly represent the objectives of the unit on which the assessment is based. There are 2 steps to evaluating the content validity of a classroom test. Number 1, are classroom objectives identified and appropriately framed? Number 2, are lesson objectives represented in the form of test specifications? The fourth question is the procedure face valid and biased for best? Students will generally judge a test to be face valid if directions are clear, the structure of the test is organized logically, its difficulty level is appropriately pitched, the test has no surprises, and timings is appropriate. A well-planned testing experience will include some strategic suggestions on how students might optimize their performance. In evaluating a classroom test, consider the extent to which before, during and after test options are fulfilled. Before the test, give students all the information you can about the test, exactly what will the test cover, which topics will be the most important, what kind of items will be on it, how long will it be. Number 2, encourage students to do a systematic review of material. For example, they should skim the textbook and other material, outline major points, write down examples. Number 3, give them practice tests or exercises if available. Number 4, facilitate formation of a study group if possible. Number 5, caution students to get a good night's rest before the test. Number 6, remind students to get to the classroom early. During the test strategies. After the test is distributed, all students to look over the whole test quickly in order to get a good grasp of its different parts. Number 2, remind them to mentally figure out how much time they will need for each part. Number 3, advise them to concentrate as carefully as possible. Number 4, warn students a few minutes before the end of class period so that they can finish on time, proofread their answers and catch careless errors. The strategies that you can use after the test are the following. Number 1, when you return the test, include feedback on specific things the students did well, what he or she did not do well, and if possible, the reasons for your comments. Number 2, advise students to pay careful attention in class to whatever you say about the test results. Number 3, encourage questions from students. Number 4, advise students to pay special attention in the future to points on which they are weak. The fifth question is, are the test tasks as authentic as possible? Evaluate the extent to which a test is authentic by asking the following questions. Is the language in the test as natural as possible? Are items as contextualized as possible rather than isolated? Are topics and situations interesting, enjoyable, and are humorous? Is some thematic organization provided, such as through a storyline or episode? Do tasks represent or closely approximate real-world tasks? The sixth question is, does the test offer beneficial washback to the learner? The design of an effective test should point the way to beneficial washback. A test that achieves content validity demonstrates relevance to the curriculum in question and thereby sets the stage for washback. Teachers can raise the washback potential by asking students to use test results as a guide to setting goals for their future effort. So we can conclude that a test is good if it contains practicality, good validity, high reliability, authenticity, and positive washback. The 5 principles provide guidelines for both constructing and evaluating the tests. So the teachers should apply these 5 principles in constructing or evaluating tests, which will be used in assessment activities. Thank you very much.